Hey Savers! Oh my gosh, I am so excited. This young lady that we're bringing to you, I'm a little biased. She is my best friend. She is my sorority sister. She is a daughter, a mother, an auntie. Oh, she is a coach. She is a spiritual witch. And I'm telling you, when she breaks that down to you, you're definitely going to understand. I am so excited to have her speaking at this conference, this amazing conference, because when I say she breaks down the spiritual aspect of everything, oh guys, without further ado, a little biased, yes, but my best friend, Isha Johnson.
Yay! Hey. Peace.
Absolutely. Oh, Queen, I'm so happy that you are here with me. Like I said, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time.
No, it's very special. This is special.
Yes. So
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So I don't mind sharing you this year. So with that being said, please tell our audience a little bit about who Isha is. Not about the business. We're going to get into all the nitty gritty, but tell me about Isha.
Yeah. Okay. So I am a Detroit-based healer, herbalist, tarot reader, and Black witch. I've been on my very unique and special spiritual journey since about 2012. During that time, I was transitioning out of college, kind of exploring what real adulthood was, because that's when real adulthood kicks in after college. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was kind of on my own trying to figure out who I was, and that's kind of how my spiritual path found me. But yeah, I mean, outside of all of that, I am a new mom. I have a beautiful baby girl who is now 9 months, which is crazy. I'm also a doula, a certified doula. So I assist, women, mostly Black women, before, during, and after their delivery. And it's another passion of mine. You'll kind of see throughout the interview that a lot of my passions are connected. And then I'm also a farmer, a Black farmer. I own a community farm right down the street from me in my neighborhood. And it's evolving and growing. This year we're trying to officially launch, but I've been gardening and farming since I was a little girl, but a community farmer for about the past 3 years. So that is Isha. Before, Motown Mystic, before the business, that is who I am. Very faceted, very diverse, very passionate.
Absolutely. What you said is so humbling, just calm. And I'm glad you mentioned the garden, because we're definitely going to talk about that today.
For sure.
So you mentioned Motown Mystic, and I want you to break down what Motown Mystic is and why you even started it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes, I'm so excited.
So Motown Mystic started out as just really a brand. So I really just wanted to create a space for women to come together and connect, to heal, really to prioritize self-care for Black women in an intentional way. So I really want to highlight that Motown Mystic wouldn't be what it is now without the intentionality behind boosting our women. You know what I'm saying? And so it started out just as that sort of, a brand. Along those lines, I knew that I had different interests in spiritual gifts. So, tarot reading is considered a spiritual gift. It's something that either you believe in, is something that you don't believe in. But for me, the tarot cards was a way that I could connect to source, that I could connect to my ancestors and my spirit guides, but also help other people connect to their spirit guides and their ancestors. And so that's when I started to see okay, I can do more with Motown Mystic. This could be more than just creating a space. This could facilitate actual healing for people. And so that's kind of where we started, or where I started. I always use the word we. I don't know if you do this as well with More for More, but I use the word we a lot. But it's me and my ancestors, because it's really just me. I run the business by myself. But yeah, I started out just as, someone trying to create a space. I started out having moon circles, new moon circles.
Yeah.
And that is where like my passion and my heart lie. And since COVID, we haven't really been able to do it much, but we transitioned online, but the vibe just wasn't right. And so we did those, and as the years sort of progressed, I started to offer tarot readings more often. And so Motown Mystic it transitioned from this brand creating a space, for Black women to heal, and then it transitioned to offering actual healing services. So I was offering tarot reads, I was offering astrology reads, I was offering herbalism services, Reiki healing, which is an energy healing that a lot of people find very, very useful. It helps align your chakras and whatnot, and we'll talk a little bit about that, or I'll talk a little bit about that later in the interview. But it started out as creating a space, helping or facilitating people to heal. And now in 2022, I am finally opening up an actual, online store where people can buy spiritual tools, spiritual products, such as spiritual baths, different types of conjure oils, different types of crystals and energy cleansing agents. So Motown Mystic has definitely evolved from when I was just hosting moon circles in my house. And I'm grateful for the growth that I have had, within the past 4 to 5 years. And super excited for where I land in the next 5-10 years. So, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I just know that I'm waiting on my package. So
you haven't got it? Oh. You should get it soon.
Absolutely. I think honestly, I'm waiting to go to check. I thought it was going to be here, and I thought I was going to have it by now, but it's okay, because things that you've given me, different teas and different crystals that even us, when we visit each other, that we go out and we actually buy, I feel like that has helped, reminding me that I need to just sage the house when something big is coming up, and when I'm moving in somewhere new. You always found a way, even talking to me and a couple of our friends about just getting our rooms together, and what we're bringing into ourselves. And I truly, appreciate that, because that does, it is passed along to our future generations from our womb to them. Yep. So just being careful and being intentional about what we're doing, I truly appreciate you. And I'm glad that, I've been blessed to have you in my life. So
absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. So what would you say has inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I mean, outside of just not wanting to work for somebody else, I was in a career or worked at the same job for like 10 years before I transitioned into like full-time entrepreneurship. But what really inspired me was knowing that my passion and my calling needed to be prioritized. Like it needed to be the driving force behind what I'm supposed to do every single day, which is not working for someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I was put here for. That's not my calling. And no shade to people that work 9 to 5s. I'm not, shading them at all. I just knew it wasn't what I was supposed to be here to do. And so after having my daughter, honestly, there was just this huge shift within me. And around like the timing of when I would actually leave my job. And you and I, we're best friends. We've had conversations about leaving our job, even you. And when you knew that I wanted to leave my job, I was always talking about it. I was planning for it, and you would always check in and, ask like, when are you doing it? When is it happening? And so, I think we all know when it's time, And I think after having my daughter, like I said, I just felt like there was a push to prioritize, my passions and my calling. just more seriously. I didn't want to waste any more time, especially, being a new mom. I didn't want to waste time away from her, but also, I wanted to live a life that she could look at. You know what I'm saying? She could look at and say, my mom actually spent her time living her truth, and she lived with purpose and she did what she wanted to do. So like I said, it had a lot to do with, having my daughter. Children really do motivate you and push you and completely change your life for the better. And I think that is truly what inspired me to take my entrepreneurship a lot more seriously.
Absolutely. Oh gosh. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your inspiration? Yeah, your shero, your hero, your mentor, like a family member, if it's my baby.
Yeah.
Who inspires you to get up each and every day and not take a break from the entrepreneurship building? You're building a brand, you're building a legacy. What continues to keep you inspired? Motivated?
I mean, I would definitely say my ancestors, specifically my maternal ancestors. Like, I feel like the women that have come before me have all done the work that I'm doing now. It just looked different, and they definitely weren't calling themselves, witches. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel honored, but also I feel a great responsibility to just carry on their legacy and continue to pass it on to my daughter. But they inspire me every day. I know, being someone who practices hoodoo, which is completely different from voodoo, is an African, Southern African spiritual tradition. And a part of that is ancestral reverence, meaning our ancestors are kind of like the heart, the meat of our spiritual practices. So every day I thank my ancestors, all of them, not just the maternal side, but I thank them every day. I have an altar where I bring them offerings so that I can show them that I'm thankful. And so they inspire me. I'm here because of them, and I'm here to carry on the legacy that they have, that they weren't necessarily able to carry out. So my ancestors.
Yes. And they guide us. People have to remind, if it wasn't for them, then we wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. So that is the key. That's the key.
Yeah. Don't forget it.
Right. For real.
That's how a lot of people actually broke, families and traditions up. They begin to, destroy from the head, which is the elders. And then, the youth, because if you have in between, you don't have anyone teaching them.
Exactly.
Then you don't have anyone, passing along the proper knowledge. So it's crazy. Just people really pay attention and do their research. So absolutely. So I know you have some goodies that are going to be hitting your store soon. So what new products or services that you'll be introducing to your platform this soon?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm going to be launching in March are medicinal and herbal teas. So I'm trying to kind of roll things out in waves. So in Motown Mystic, the store is actually a month old. It'll be a month tomorrow. So this first, February, I wanted to just focus on just launching it. I couldn't launch everything at the same time. So, or at one time. So I wanted to start with my spiritual products. And so March, I want to start rolling out some of the actual herbal products. So there's going to be some teas, herbal teas, as well as a divine feminine line. So, and I'll talk a little bit about this later in the interview, but since March is Women's History Month, I want to be very intentional and celebrate women in a special way and helping them connect to their divine feminine power. And so March, I'm going to be releasing a box specifically to help people connect with their divine feminine. So that's what's on the horizon for March. in April. I haven't thought that far yet, but it's definitely, there's a lot of things that I want to launch this year, but just, I'm taking my time, one thing at a
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely. And I think when you don't overwhelm yourself, I think
Right.
you're able to, and that's just the type of person you are. You like, you have a plan, but not a plan. And
Right.
so
Exactly.
that's how you're able to like really navigate to the next step and be
Exactly.
so successful.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah.
keep me grounded. I can say that.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna sneak this in here.
Mhm.
Back in college, she is my Sans. Why do you feel that Zeta or any organization, sorority or fraternity, is an asset to women?
Mm.
Truly, to be able to network, to be able to grow and be nurtured. Why do you think these organizations are so important, especially for women like us?
I feel like I would piggyback off of what you said. Like, the two biggest things that I benefited from, joining a sorority, Zeta Phi Beta specifically, was the connection and the nurturing that I received. I made, obviously, a lifelong connection, and connections. You know what I'm saying? I've like, mostly all of my best friends are Zetas, and the nurturing that I received, even if it was from, older sorors or sorors from different, areas of the country, like, it's just always love. There's always love. There's always positivity and happiness and good times. And so I think if you are someone that is looking for that, a connection, the nurturing, that is why I would join, a sorority. I think that is really the importance. And especially, with Zeta being a black, sorority, the importance of black women being able to have healthy, positive, loving connections and relationships is beautiful. Like, I feel like there's too many examples of us, you know, you know, hitting against each other, not supporting each other. So I feel like any chance for us to come together and connect and nurture each other, I feel like it's an opportunity for us as black women to heal and grow. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, More for More is a financially focused organization. Can you tell us the impact that finances have on your day to day, whether it's
Hmm.
personal or business? Mind you, she used to be on the board, so she has firsthand experience. But yes, how do
Yeah.
you feel like that connects to your personal
It's
and
it
business?
is so important, and I want to just thank you, because even when we were in college, and this is, this is personal, but Christina was so responsible with finances and money. And I just always admired that. Like, I really always admired that. That's one of the biggest things um that inspires me from you, is like your mindset around finances. And it really has rubbed off. Like, it definitely has rubbed off on me. Since college, I've been like way more conscious about, my credit, but also like my debt to income ratio, stuff like that. Like, and even going into business full time, I'm just way more conscious about, handling business like very responsibly. So, there's things that you've asked me that I would have never thought of or never knew about unless, I went to you and talked to you about it, such as like getting a DUNS number, getting, an actual business bank account, just certain things that I feel like have been super important to my finances personally and business wise. And one of the things that I think you also have encouraged me to do is like take life insurance really, really seriously. And so that's like my biggest like priority right now, especially since I'm not working anymore, is making sure that, we're covered and we're taken care of. And my daughter is, taken care of as well if something happened to me. And so, yeah, I mean, finances have become like way more serious as I've gotten older, obviously. And it's just like at the top of my mind now that I have a child,
Yeah.
So, but I'm grateful to have a friend like you, so that I am, encouraged, but also like motivated to actually like put my best foot forward, take it serious. And also I feel like I have kind of like a cheat code having you as a friend. Like I could just, my thing is like, even if you don't necessarily have the answer to my question, like you look it up and know how to explain it to me in a way that doesn't sound like business boring jargon, you know what I'm saying? Or boring too. But so yes, it's important. And I think the business side is something that I'm still learning. It's evolving and it's growing. And this is kind of separate from Motown Mystic, but I'm taking a business course, but specifically for my farm. So I'm taking a 6-month course on how to actually run a farm business. And so that has been like tremendous. Like it's teaching us how to actually file things for your farm, and just so many. It's really great. I wish that I could take something like that for Motown Mystic, but I'm applying it all to all of my businesses because it's all the same. So yeah.
Absolutely. So with your garden, just tell us a little bit about your garden. It's crazy because I know you don't talk about it as much as you should.
Yeah.
But when you started off and you purchased your first piece of land, which is like, okay, I got my first piece of land, but then you actually start gardening and actually put, different items, produce out for people to take. You didn't realize people were actually like taking them.
No.
You're like, what happened? Why did you put these? Where's the tomatoes? Where's the cabbage at? So, with you transitioning from in front of your house to your actual plot of land, like tell us about that and where you plan, for it to go.
Yeah. So I don't even know how the transition is going to look. Like I said, this is going to be our first year transitioning from gardening, in our home or at our home on our property, to gardening, at the lot. And so the biggest thing that we are working on right now is securing funding for a water source. And so we have applied for many different grants to get or to build a water catchment system so that we don't have to like carry jugs of water from the house down to the garden, which would be ridiculous and will be super time consuming. And so that's what we're working on right now. We luckily have so much support, one, from the community because they know who we are. We've been gardening. They have even volunteered to like help water just in case we can't secure funding for the water catchment system. They've also volunteered to just kind of like keep an eye on it, make sure that there's no like vandalism or people aren't like ripping stuff out of the, plots or anything. And overall just volunteerism, like a lot of people have showed interest, because I think people know that it's a need. So, we've gotten a lot of support, a lot of folks that want to help. And then we have support from local organizations that provide us with transplants. They provide us with seeds. So we've never needed to buy our plants, our transplants. So we grow everything on an in-kind basis, which has been really helpful. This year, though, since we're going to be on a bigger space, we are going to be planting a couple of new vegetables that are... what's the word I'm looking for? That's specific to the Michigan climate. So corn is something that is kind of like exclusive. It's not exclusive to Michigan, but there's certain types of corn that's exclusive to Michigan. And so we're going to grow a couple of those species so that people in the neighborhood can try out some different types of, vegetables. So we're going to do that. We also got some donations of small apple trees. So we're going to plant those. Obviously, the apple trees won't produce fruit probably until like 2025, but they'll be there. So we're excited. We have a lot of good things happening. I just wanted to focus on launching Motown Mystic first, or launching the store first, and then focus on the farm. But also, like I said, I'm in this class right now, which is kind of giving me the foundation and the basics before, fully launching into being out there. But the good thing is we know how to plant, we know how to garden, we know how to keep plants alive, which is the hard part, So we're good at that. Anything after that, I feel like will be a breeze.
Absolutely. One moment. We're struggling. Sorry. Sorry. I was sitting up here. I was like, so
I didn't even notice.
Thank God. Hopefully they don't notice.
That's
okay. Okay, babe. I'm gonna come back in at 15. That is amazing. Oh my gosh. Earlier you mentioned that you do, that you offer doula services.
Mm-hmm.
You will be my doula when that time comes.
I know we always talk about this. Yes, I will.
So I was like, get prepared. So just tell us a little bit about your doula services for those who are interested.
Yeah. So I would say my doula services are, right now, I have just been providing education and learning sort of opportunities for expecting mothers. I don't have the capacity right now to take on actual clients, meaning to, come out and visit, but also be there at the delivery. Like I need to balance all of these things that I have going on before that. But there's a bunch of people that I've connected with within the past 3 months, especially since I've had my daughter, just giving them resources, giving them tips. So one of the biggest things that I love to support expecting mothers with is picking a care provider, so making sure that you have the proper care provider. And so I create an actual checklist that I give to, expecting moms, and they kind of walk through it with their care provider to make sure that their care provider knows what they want and are actually able to produce it. And if not, then we kind of come up with a plan on how to find a different care provider. So that's one of the things that I do. And then kind of giving them some actual labor tips. That's one of the big things that I feel like I benefited from in my labor, was one, being open to anything happening, so preparing for that, but also I wanted to have a drug-free, or I wanted to have birth without an epidural. So my doula was really intentional about providing me with pain relief, natural pain relief methods. And so I like to support expecting mothers with those options and those resources as well. There's a thing called hypnobirthing. I know you and I have talked about it. I talked about it all throughout my pregnancy. But it was crucial. It literally is the reason why I was able to have my daughter without an epidural. And so I like to just pass down all those resources and educational tools to expecting moms. But once I kind of get my balance with, the farm and Motown Mystic, I think in 2023, I'll start to actually, take on clients and be a little bit more hands-on with my my doula work.
Perfect. So we know what to look out for.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So with the theme this year of the conference being you're worth every dollar, how do you feel like that connects to women on a mental, a physical, a financial, and spiritual realm? Because we understand that wealth is not always about finances. You have to be a holistic person. And so, yes, you'll be talking about the spirituality of it, but how do you think all of those elements connect to being a holistic woman to be successful on her wealthy journey?
Well, I think all of it is connected. So if we, not only are they connected, but if one is out of balance or imbalance, it's most likely going to cause all of the other aspects to become imbalanced as well. And I feel like as we, as women, and the focus is knowing our worth, there is a sense of urgency around prioritizing ourselves in all of those aspects, because like I said, they're all connected. Now, obviously I I'm coming with the spiritual lens. And we can get into that specifically later, but I feel like as we are knowing our worth in those different categories, physically, mentally, emotionally, I feel like that's where we'll start to see the most change and the most like healing around our finances specifically. When we know our value, when we know what we want, but also what we can what we can contribute as well, I feel like we will start to harness this power and this energy that will start to strengthen our words and knowing what that is. So I think it's super important. And I want to, of course, dive more into the spiritual side of it because I feel like that in itself is like so much that a lot of people may not, understand or truly recognize the like implications behind the spiritual side specifically. And so I think that's what I really want to touch on during my time during the conference.
Absolutely. So you said you were going to touch on a little bit, so I'm going to bring it back. So
Okay.
Give us a little snippet, a little hint of what you will be discussing around the spirituality or possible activities that you might be doing with our audience that day to kind of get them hyped up.
Yes. So I'm excited because I am going through a transition in my life where I am clearing out blockages around my finances from a spiritual sense. So what I really want to spend time during the conference with the participants is establishing an understanding of the root chakra. So if you don't know what chakras are, it's basically like an energy system that runs from the top of our head down to our spine, the bottom of our spine. And so each chakra, there's 7 of them. Each chakra kind of like is responsible for a different aspect of our physical bodies, but also our bodies energetically and spiritually. So I want to spend some time during the conference to talk about the root chakra and how the root chakra specifically connects to money. It specifically connects to finances, our abundance, our wealth consciousness, like really understanding that whatever blockages that we have around money and believing that we can obtain it most likely has to do with an imbalance with our root chakra. And so I'm going to spend some time, like I said, talking about the root chakra, establishing an understanding of what that is, but also I want to spend some time talking about how to unblock it and what are some symptoms. So like most times, if there's a blockage energetically and spiritually, it oftentimes shows up physically. So there may be a lot of people who are having physical symptoms of a root chakra imbalance, and it's probably affecting your money. So gonna spend some time doing that, spend some time, like I said, talking about how to unblock it. And then hopefully we can walk away, or the participants can walk away with some tangible steps and tools, some journal prompts that they can continuously work on after they leave.
Perfect. So tell us about some upcoming things to look for before the conference. Like I know I've signed up for, but tell us about your Divine Feminine Challenge and any other events or upcoming things that you have going on or coming up.
Yes, I do want to talk. I said I would talk more about the Divine Feminine Challenge. It's the month of March is, like I said, it's Women's History. I wanted to be really intentional about creating more spaces for, women to come together and tap into the divine feminine aspect of themselves. And I do want to say, like, the divine feminine energy is in all of us, even, men. We have masculine energy and feminine energy. The thing is, most times there's an imbalance. So either you're like hyper masculine or either you're hyper feminine. And so the goal is to really balance it out. But I feel like so many of us women are like super imbalanced to where our divine feminine is very out of sync. It's super imbalanced. And another thing I want to stress is divine feminine power, energy has nothing to do with what you look like, how you dress. It has nothing to do with like wearing makeup or putting on a dress or a skirt. It has everything to do with how you receive help, how you receive love. If you're able to really prioritize yourself, if you're able to actually say, I'm going to take a break because I need it and my mental health is suffering, it means you are really connected maybe with your higher power. Do you feel like you know, when you pray, you actually, you know, are getting a response, or you feel like, you know, your higher source, the higher power is answering your prayers? Are you disconnected from yourself? Sometimes we feel out of whack, you know what I'm saying? So all of that has to do with divine feminine power. And so the month of March, I'm going to be launching a challenge, and it's basically every day there's going to be a task, and it's simple stuff like, you know, taking 5 minutes to do deep breathing, going for a walk outside to get fresh air, calling a friend that you love. Like, it's super simple things, but these things, whether we know or not, is really connected to our divine feminine. Because if we are connected with other people and ourselves, we can really flourish and thrive. So yeah, that's what I'll be focused on for the month of March. And if you are, well, no, probably no one's local, but I'm gonna host an event in April here in Detroit. So I'm preparing for that. But yeah, I think the biggest thing right now that I'm focusing on is the Divine Feminine Challenge, which should be cool. There's a Facebook group that folks can join. You can connect with other women and share your, you know, day-to-day experiences throughout the challenge. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. So I can't wait until tomorrow starts. So this is an important question for you before I kind of let you go. But what type of legacy do you want to create and leave for your future daughter? Or as she grows, because she's here, but as she grows, what future?
Right. One, I think the biggest thing is like, I want her to have a sense of freedom, but also like understanding how to break free from conformity. You know, I think a lot of us are living lives that either, you know, we were taught to live or told to live, or we're living lives that someone just kind of passed down to us. You know, we're just doing what people want us to do. And I want her to have, you know, the freedom to do what she wants to do, even if it's, you know, unconventional, or even if it's not normal, or people will look at her like, what? So, I just want her to have the flexibility and freedom to live the life that she wants. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I feel like even with the start of my spiritual journey, a lot of people was like, what? Aisha's a black witch? Like, what is that? I was just never afraid to embrace that and really claim that power, you know? And throughout the years, I've just explained to people what that is and what that means. And people are like, okay. And so I just try to live a really authentic life that's unapologetic and free from conformity and judgment, and, you know, living my best truth. And that's essentially what I want for my daughter. And it's even more important having a daughter, because I feel like it's common for us women to kind of like conform and shrink ourselves. And so I think that's essentially the mark that I want to leave for her.
Perfect. Well, our audience will have the opportunity to see you on March 26, 2020, starting at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. But until then, because you have so many elements, so many moving parts, and you have different things, products that you're offering, and the challenge. Please tell our audience how to find you on your social media platforms or your website, even with tarot reading, because I know you've done mine. And I can tell you everything has come true, to be honest. But yeah, so it's kind of scary, but yeah. Tell our audience how to find you.
So they can find me, or anyone can find me on all of my platforms. So I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's Motown Mystic on all of those. So MOTOWNMYSTIC. And my website is www.motownmystic.com. So yeah, you can access my store, my booking site, everything. If you want more information about the Divine Feminine Challenge, you can find all the information on Instagram, but also my website as well.
Absolutely. Well, it has truly been a pleasure. Again, I'm so excited for each and every one of the speakers, especially you. I cannot wait to hear and see and feel everything that you're bringing to the table on that day. So until then, I love you to pieces. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.